If I had to choose one game that has impacted my life more than any other, it would easily be Minecraft, specifically Legacy Console Edition. My first ever experience with the game was on PlayStation 3 back in 2015 in an update that would have been considered Java 1.3. For nearly 4 years, I played exclusively on Legacy Console, no Java, no Bedrock, no Pocket Edition. Having to make do with such limited worlds made me eager to search for strange seeds, because in Legacy Console, you can't just explore until you find what you want. Sadly, my seed finding tools were limited. I could only make random worlds and hope for the best. So, 11 years after the start of my Minecraft journey, imagine my surprise when nearly the exact version of the game I became so obsessed with had its code leaked online. I knew what I had to do: look into the code and find out how the worlds generate. After a lot of reverse engineering and a lot of search time, here are some of the most interesting seeds I've been able to find so far for Legacy Console, including a world with no land, a world with 12 villages, and a world that I thought was lost to time. First though, let's go over how Legacy Console World Gen actually works. The leaked code that started circulating a few months ago is Title Update 19, better known as just TU19, and roughly equivalent to Java 1.6.4. Most biomes and structures generate identically to Java, with a few exceptions that I will explain in depth when they become relevant. Finally, all seeds shown here are in the classic world size, 864 by 864 blocks. Increasing the world size won't break anything inside, but it will make more biomes and terrain outside. Without further ado, let's get into the seeds. These first few seeds are all centered around oceans and mushroom islands. Mushroom islands were my favorite biome even way back when on Legacy Console. As the first of many changes made to the game to fit smaller world sizes, mushroom islands have been made much more common in Legacy Console, but have also been made much smaller. Java 1.6.4 uses a layer and tile-based system to generate worlds. In Java, the general shape of land and sea is marked out using some of the initial layers, and then a new mushroom island layer is generated at 1 to 256 scale. All tiles, land or sea, roll a 1 in 100 chance. Then the ones that succeed are compared to the land and sea layer. If a successful mushroom island roll lands on top of an ocean tile, the ocean tile becomes a mushroom island. In Legacy Console, this is slightly tweaked. The mushroom island layer is 1 to 32 now, so every 32 block wide square now has a 1 in 100 chance to become a mushroom island if it was in an ocean. This leads to islands being far smaller, but much easier to find, which is perfect for the scaled down worlds of Legacy Console. What this means for mushroom island searches is that if you can simulate the mushroom island layer, you can search seeds with it to find specific criteria. Using the All-biomes library for Java 1.6, as well as some of the generation files from the Legacy Console leak, I was able to get this generation reverse engineered and could now search with it. My first target was to see just how many mushroom islands I could get in a single world. My best result was this seed, with 26 unique mushroom tiles. Some of these clump together and merge into one island though, so depending on how large you define an island to be, there are only about 20 mushroom islands in the world. This is quite the rare find, as you can see with the binomial distribution. So now that we have a world with a lot of mushroom tiles, what's the biggest single mushroom island we can find? Well, using a tool to simulate the further spread layers for the mushroom islands on Legacy Console, I was able to find this seed. This is actually just 12 mushroom tiles in a trench coat right in the center of the world. The terrain on this island in particular is really beautiful. It's super mountainous and totally unlike the flat mushroom islands of 1.18+. There are a few smaller outside islands with trees on this seed too, just like the last ones, so it isn't too difficult to get a nice world up and running. But what if a struggle is what you want? Can you find a world with no trees? What about no land at all for that matter? This seed was shown off in one of my previous videos. It was seed number 2 on the list of my top 10 rarest seeds I've ever found. The seed, when made on the classic world size, is entirely covered with water. No land at all. No trees, which means no saplings, no grass, which means no animals, nothing but water. I explained a lot of what makes it rare in that video, but in case you don't want to go watch it, I'll explain its rarity here too. First, there can't be any land biomes in the 864 by 864 block world. This is already somewhat uncommon, but you also need to have no mushroom islands at all. There are 729 mushroom tile spots in a classic-sized world. Having every single one of them fail their 1% chance to become a mushroom island is quite rare, about 1 in 1500 odds. On top of all of this, the seafloor terrain can't poke out above the water. All of these conditions combined makes this seed very annoying to search for, and also pretty annoying to play on. I think the only way to really survive here is to get into a mineshaft underground for wood, but good luck surviving down there with no food. So maybe a nice little island wouldn't be so bad. What's the most perfect island you can find for Legacy Console? One of my favorite seeds for Legacy Console when I was younger was this seed, which I found somewhere online around 2016. Now, credit for Minecraft seeds way back then gets really fuzzy, so I can't say for sure who first found this. What I can say is that this is quite the beautiful seed. It spawns you on a small, snowy island in the middle of a water world. Going into a seed viewer that shows 1 to 256 tiles, you can see that this is just a single tile of taiga surrounded by ocean. This made me wonder, can you find perfect islands like this for every biome? It turns out you can. I won't go over these seeds in detail because there are 7 of them, 1 for each major biome in 1.6.4, minus ice plains because they don't like to form small islands. However, they will all be on screen with their corresponding biome, and along with all the other seeds, they're all down below in the description. These island discoveries got me thinking though, could an island with all biomes be found? In Legacy Console, the edges of the world shear off the terrain into these unsightly cliffs. I wanted to find a seed where every biome was present, but on an island, so the border wouldn't cut land off. This search is rather annoying. The 1 to 256 tiles often expand outside the bounds and break the continent. Eventually, though, I did find a nice example of what I was looking for. This is a pretty much perfect continent, and the world even has mushroom islands. It almost looks like a perfect little tutorial world, like it was handcrafted by Mojang. Seed finding can really find some beautiful things. Having all biomes is pretty cool, but what about only having one biome? If you get the 9 center tiles in a world to all be the exact same biome, it is possible for them to expand outwards in such a way that they cover almost the entire world. I was able to get this to work with the 8 main land biomes. Obviously, mushroom islands aren't really going to work for this, and ocean was already done earlier. Some of these worlds have a lot of really cool building opportunities. I especially love the extreme hills, plains, and taiga ones. As with the island seeds, I won't go over all of these in detail, but they will be down in the description. So, after a ton of biome-based seeds, I wanted to see what could be done as far as structures go. It turns out, jungle temples, desert pyramids, and witch huts all generate the exact same on Legacy Console as they do on Java 1.6.4, so as far as surface structures, that leaves villages. Village placement is modified in Legacy Console. The spacing for village regions goes from 32 chunks to 16 chunks, roughly quadrupling the number of villages in a given area. So I wanted to try my hand at finding the most villages in a single world. The best I was able to do was 12. In theory, more is possible, but sometimes Legacy Console villages just give up on life and only form wells. I was finding them rather hard to filter out. This means I had to manually look at the 11 or 12 villages on every world the program found to make sure there were no fakes, and it got really tiring, so I gave up at 12. Still, this seed is pretty wild. It has 12 villages, 2 desert temples, and even a surface dungeon spawner, so the loot you can get from this seed is really nice. So, that's the end of the seeds that I found myself for Legacy Console, but you may see the few minutes remaining on the video and wonder what the rest of the runtime is about. Well, since this video is about Legacy Console, World Gen, and seeds, I figured I would share the methods that I use to reverse the seed out of an already existing Legacy Console world, just by using basic World Gen rules. This is Dreamland, my oldest lasting Minecraft world. It was started by me and my family in 2015, and we had an absolute blast building weird things and doing random nonsense in the world. When the time came to upgrade to a PlayStation 4, the world was converted to Bedrock. This was before 1.18, so Bedrock seeds were 32-bit signed integers. Legacy Console seeds were 64-bit signed integers, so when Bedrock was converting the world, it treated the original seed like text and shredded it, turning it into a new world seed. So the only existing record of the true seed was on the PlayStation 3, and when that unexpectedly died, the seed was lost. Until I had an idea. You see, rivers in a 1.6 world are based on the lower 26 bits of a world seed. Every seed ending in the same 26 bits will have an identical river pattern, and this set of 26 bits is called a river seed. Since a world seed is a 64-bit number, if you can find the river seed, you only have 38 bits left to squeeze out. This means you're left with 274 billion possible seeds for your world, instead of the 18 quintillion across the entire seed space. Now, 274 billion seeds sounds like a huge number. However, with modern search methods and a lot of time spent computing, you can filter these remaining seeds based on the biomes in the original world. Since I had the world still saved, I jotted down the coordinates of biomes, put them into my simple program, and waited. I got a list of about 400 potential outputs that had the right river seed and had biomes in the right place, and all that was left was to look through them. All of the seeds were so close to being familiar, and yet just a little bit wrong, until finally I came across the seed. After nearly 4 years without seeing the original world on the PlayStation 3, I could finally look back on it and know it would never be lost again. This process, taking screenshots and data about an already existing world and reversing it back into the seed, is called seed cracking. It's been used for a great many things, including finding the seed for pack.png. I don't want to mislead you all, however, seed cracking is not easy, and I was very lucky to have been able to crack the seed of my world. You need extremely specific data that can squeeze out parts of the seed itself, or can be searched at lightning-fast speeds. If you have a lost world you need the seed of, you probably won't be able to find it. The odds are even worse on modern versions that use RNG like Zorashiro 128++, which renders a lot of potential info near useless because that RNG cannot yet be reversed. Mine was only possible due to a combination of lots of help from knowledgeable people, being able to peek into the source code, generating the world on a version with easy methods of attack, and being lucky that I still had a copy of the world on Bedrock. Without screenshots of very specific data or a copy of the world, the process of seed cracking is not possible. So, those are the coolest Legacy console seeds I've found. From perfect continents to call home to totally ridiculous world gen, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Taking the trip down memory lane to look through such familiar world generation was really fun for me, and I hope you all get the same joy out of these older versions as I do. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hype the video if you liked it, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, and may you have a wonderful day.